we've done a lot of fantastic restorations over the years. We've won many awards, and people are often asking me, if you hear of another car, I'd love to do a Barkaways restoration, because it's not so much just the restoration, it's the whole journey of coming over here, seeing the car as it goes through the general processes of bodywork and what have you. But it's a unique opportunity for someone to spec their own 1960s, 70s, whatever car as they want it. So here is the next car. Now this has come in, Maserati 3500, 1960. The engine number and what have you all look to be the same as the chassis and what have you. Now the other good thing on this is, for the sharp-eyed amongst you, it's a right-hand drive car. Now we think they only made about 12 right-hand drive cars, so this is starting to sort of tick some boxes already. The other thing, it's been in long-term ownership. It was in one family for about 50 years. It's part of the Curtis collection. So now we're really starting to tick some boxes. So it's got long-term ownership, rare right-hand drive. The other thing that's quite quirky on this is they made about 1,300 of these. 400 or so had the Lucas injection, and the rest had the Weber carburetors. Now this is a Weber carburetor car. Now, as you can see, it's lovely and original under here, but personally I think the Webers are easier to live with and they make a nice noise. The mechanical injection, if you get it all sorted, it does work, but generally I think the Webers is a nicer option. So now we're starting to look at the car and thinking, yeah, this is quite a special car, it's quite rare, it's very original. What's it got history-wise? So now we look at sort of what this car's got. So we've got a nice history file. Now there's plenty of bits of paper there on the history file. One of the really nice things for me, and the originals are in this envelope, but we've done photocopies because they're really fragile, is the original brown logbook. So it's got all the original logbook back from 1960 when it was originally registered, all in nice italic writing. So this you can't reproduce. Another thing that's really nice that obviously the original owner had is the original Maserati brochure. Now again, it's always nice to have all these little bits and pieces on the cars, but generally they've been lost over the years. So this is clearly an original brochure and very fragile. I look at a car and think, okay, originality is everything. Finding old bits for these cars is very hard. So this I'm looking at, and it's got all the original lights in it, original grille, bumpers are going to need some work, but things like this, the lovely detail on the original indicators and things like that. So it's, because it's been in single ownership for so long, say not many bits have been lost. All this lovely worked aluminium engine bay detail. You can see that's a Maserati feet. Bugatti used to do this a lot as well. It was lovely machined aluminium, just really make some effort in the engine bay. All the original soundproofing up here. So this is to me, just looking around it basically. The engine does run. We have driven it. We'll show you underneath. It's not that safe to drive, the brakes and stuff. It needs doing, this car. It's going to need a lot of work to make it safe. But it looks like it's a fairly complete car. This is undoubtedly the original trim in this car. You can see it's old. And you can see from the roof lining up here, it's all totally original. It's all going to need doing, but we've got the original lights, lovely little details up here, the original Perspex sun visors, and again, they're not broken. If you've got original components, you can refurbish them and put them back on. If they're missing, they're very, very hard to find. So going across the dashboard, lovely 1960s passenger handrail here to hang on to. And then you're coming onto the clocks, and again, they all match, they all look lovely and original. As starting points go for restoration, this is about as good as it gets. Moving down towards the back of the car, other little things we look for, lovely original locks and handles on the outside. Again, all easy to refurbish. I'm looking at the glass, we've got original etching marks on the glass, so clearly this is a very complete car. Lovely little details, 1960s details across the top of the wings, and again, all original backlights. As you can see, now we're starting to see why this is a restoration job, and that the bumper has really clearly been standing for a few years. But lovely detail here, the boot with the original raised letters. I remember making these when we were apprentice punching these out and putting the letters on. Big GT car, big touring car, so a big boot for putting stuff in. Nice original spare all under there. Okay, so some of you are probably thinking this car didn't look too bad from the upstairs, but when you start to look downstairs and see what's on it, you can see there's quite a lot of corrosion going on under here. I look at this as a car that's just going to keep breaking down at the moment. So you can see we've got some fluid leaks going on here, we've got some quite rusty suspension. One of the good things we've got, as you can see over this side, is that we've got disc front brakes. This is a late car, so we've got discs on the front, drums on the back, which means it's a much nicer car to drive. But you can see generally it's a bit crispy under here. So working backwards, obviously we've got nice original engine, but you can see there's quite a lot of oil leaks going on under here. It's almost like self-undersealing that it has protected it from rust. So we've got things like the clutch mechanism here is leaking. Looking at this component here, this is the bottom of your brakes. That's all your brake pedal and brake hydraulics, and clearly that doesn't look too serviceable to me. I wouldn't want to go too fast on brakes that are that corroded on master cylinders and things. So now moving back towards the back suspension, you can see why this is becoming more of a project. We've got leaf spring suspension with drum rear brakes, and there's a lot of corrosion here. Clearly this car's been standing for a while. The main chassis is good, but it needs a bit of loving now. This needs sorting out. We haven't mentioned the body. This is an aluminium body car, and when you look up here, the white powder is the alloy corroding. So this is going to need quite a lot of body work on this one. And you can see up under here there's all corrosion starting to happen, and all these pipes and stuff. It's all going to break down. So this is why this becomes a bit of a project. We've got the fuel pumps mounted up the back here, and all these hoses, I don't know if you can see them, they're all cracked and broken, so they need doing. And you can see here the bodywork where it's been wrapped round, it's really starting to get a bit flaky. Okay, so we've gone through the car, and I do believe this is a very good starting point. As you can see, the car is physically with us at the moment, and it's for sale. This car is for sale. You can see more details on the website. If anyone wants any more information, please give us a call. It is for sale, but for the next journey, they don't get a lot rarer than a one of 12 right-hand drive Maseratis from the 60s. So if you like chrome bumper Maseratis, 1960s cars, this is it.